Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bobby Zen, and today we are zenning out with blender. I mean, playing feels appropriate as well, but welcome back to my channel, everyone. I am working on this Fenty perfume bottle right now, and I've taken a bit of a break. I was at Coachella. I have been recovering from a sickness from Coachella. I'm just feeling a little beat up. You guys know, if you've been to Coachella, it is a lot on your body. So I've been spending the day just like playing The Sims. I'm back in Blender. I just wanted to kind of, wet my whistle again, get back to it. I do miss it. So I figured I had started this project before I left for Coachella. So I decided to reopen it with fresh eyes and see what we could tweak, what we could work on, and just kind of walk through the method of adjusting. One thing that I will say about most Blender projects is that when you're working on it, you do get into this flow state and you're moving and you're creating the object. And then if you take a break and come back to it, it's almost like you're seeing a brand new project, and it's like with fresh eyes and your brain is refreshed and all of that. Those of you that know. So I was like, I know that this Fenty bottle can be so much better, and I just wasn't ready to face it just yet, but I guess today is the day. So that's my super long intro. We're gonna just be adjusting this Fenty bottle. Now, I can't promise that I can for sure do this. I'm just hoping that we can get our, let's go ahead and look at the front view. Let's hope that we can get our bottle to look like this picture here. And I also own the Fenty perfume, so I have a physical bottle in front of my face as well that I'm using as reference. So between the photo and the real thing, I'm hoping that we can successfully recreate the Fenty perfume bottle. That is kind of my thing right now, because not only do I think that it helps with modeling, but again, it helps to kind of problem solve with these sorts of things like lighting and texturing and getting something as close to the real thing as possible. So that's what I want to do for this video. This video will probably be chopped up. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to call this. I want to just have a series of Blender, just like I'm fumbling through Blender. That's what I want it to be. I'm fumbling through Blender. I'm learning as I go. And hopefully as I'm doing this, I'm progressively getting better. So that's what this series is. I'm hopeful that you learn something from this, that you gain something from this, but I don't want to promise anything that I can't, because most times in Blender, I am literally just fumbling around. So that's basically my little disclaimer. Please don't be upset at me if you are anticipating a tutorial. It could be a tutorial if there are things that you can pull from this that I can support you with. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. I would love to support in any way that I can if I do know the answer to it. But in the meantime, I'm going to stop rambling. And I think what I want to do now is to kind of take a look at this bottle and just dissect the things that I want to adjust, that I want to change, that I think we could do better. And also just looking at the physical bottle in front of me as well, there are some things that I would change as well. So first things first, if we kind of go back into this view here, number one thing I'm noticing is that the base of the perfume bottle cap is much slimmer than what we're getting from our reference photo here. So I definitely want to widen that and kind of bring it more across the bottle. If you notice, it is basically to the edge of either side of right before we drop down to the side of the bottle. So we definitely can widen that out. I'm not minding this little piece here, but there is a roundness that I was trying to get, and beveling is something that is pretty challenging for me, because some of these edges were not quite beveling the way that I was wanting, and we're getting more of a sharp edge here. If you kind of notice on this top here, you can kind of see the base of it is beveled and curved nicely, but the top is not. So I'm not quite sure how to adjust that, how to fix that, but that is something that I definitely want to adjust. And then if you notice here with the top of this lid here, right? So the curvature of the bottle is pretty good, but once we get to this area, I'm noticing that my top is a lot flatter, a lot more circular than this here. This is giving more of a rectangle face. If you look here like that, it's more of a rectangle with a bit of a diagonal, almost very similar to the bottle, and mine is giving just circular. So how I would go about shifting that, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if I would completely cut the top off and go ahead and just create a cube, squish it down to a rectangle, and kind of subdivide it in the way that works best. That seems like the best thing, but I would want it to be flush, so I guess I could also tackle that by then creating a bouillon and combining both pieces to hopefully create more of a flush look. So this is again where I kind of want to like trial and error and try different techniques to get the final result. So before, I think the way that I'll format this video is I will kind of speak to what I'm looking to accomplish, and then I'll just go ahead and cut off the audio and go for kind of speed through the time lapse through my process of figuring out, because I don't know how long this is going to take me to fully figure out, but I'm hoping to get there. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm thinking for this. So let's just kind of call it that. I want to focus on this. There is also a really cool design on the top of the Fenty bottle, and I will insert a clip of that here. So there is a design on the top of the bottle that I do want to recreate as well. So I will also work through that throughout the time lapse, the sped up part of this video. Maybe I will talk through it once I kind of figure that part out. But before we do that, I want to grab this top and I want to pull it up on the Z, right? So I'm grabbing on the Z, and we did also create the spray portion of the bottle, and I think it does look pretty good. I want to jump into the final render view to just kind of see the texture on that, and I do think that we need to adjust the color of our bottle a smidgen. Comparing it to my real life bottle, it's a lot more similar than the image that we have on the screen, so we'll just have to find a nice medium in between there. So we have our spray moment, and I think it looks pretty okay in this view here. We might render it to kind of see what it looks like, but just let me see. Looking at my version, I will need to change the inside to a white texture, so I'll probably have to add another object on the inside of that. Go ahead and create the tiny little dot where the perfume would come out of, because the spray is not that large on a perfume bottle, right? So the sprayer. I think our main objective for this particular part is going to be just this lid here. I want to get this lid looking as close to this as we can, as well as getting the design on top of the lid going. So let's go ahead and get into that, and then I will be back with you guys shortly.